loves. Welcome to Power Conversations and Connections with Susan, where we talk life, the beauty and vulnerability on the journey to self love and evolving into our best selves. Thank you for joining the conversation. And this is yet another good one. I am super excited to have Monique Rogers here. Monique and I met at a networking event, and her platform is simply something that needs to be on every podcast across the nation. It's wonderful. And so I wanted to have the honor of having her join us here for a really enriching conversation. Monique, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You are
That's
welcome.
such an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself.
Well, first up, again, thank you for this opportunity. It is such a blessing to be here to, share my gifts, share my passion with the world. I am Monique Rogers. I am the CEO and founder of Total Woman Coaching. I am a self-discovery coach for married moms, teaching married mothers to come out of hiding, come out of the silence that they're hiding behind, and love themselves again. Because what happens is, on our journey, I've been married for 26 years, sometimes we can lose ourselves in marriage and motherhood. And so I've created a platform where I am igniting courage in women to rediscover who they are.
I want you to hear that. Again, her platform is all about women who are either mothers or in marriage or both, rediscovering themselves if they have lost themselves in whatever way, and igniting courage that in that space they can still be a whole human being.
Absolutely.
That is so wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I feel so honored to have you here. When I started to do the research, right, on what you're doing, it was during your campaign where it was blooming.
Yes, it's blooming
Right?
season.
Blooming season.
Yes.
And the thing that captured my attention first was the photos. Because initially, you had the bouquets of flowers and it's blooming. I'm thinking your hubby, gifted you with some flowers, and then I'm like, okay, so he giving her flowers every day? So that's when I began to look at it a little closer. And I saw that it was a challenge that you had put out into the world. And so tell us what blooming season is.
So first I thought it was, let me just backtrack. So I created this 7-day challenge a while ago. And I had been sitting on it for a while. And I was like, you know what? I have something to give the world right now. As I am promoting myself and, I just started the self-discovery journey with coaching and everything. I'm like, what can I do to get the women fired up? And I was like, I have this in my back pocket. Let's do It's Blooming Season, perfect for the spring.
Yes.
Right? To rediscover who we are. And I wanted to teach married moms. And the reason why I'm targeting mothers and wives, because I'm a mother and wife myself, and I understand
so do
that.
I have to be both?
You do not have to be both. You do not have to be both. And so I wanted to show mothers and wives that you can carve out time for yourself.
Yes.
You can carve out time for yourself to love on you, to fall in love with you again.
Not only can you, but you should.
You absolutely should.
We were, during our last live conversation, my daughter actually was talking about, she's 29 and she's just getting to the point of understanding that she can be a whole person. She can take some time for herself and not be guilty. I mean, she was doing it, but there was an element of guilt about it. My grandbaby's 5 years old, but she's just getting there, at 29.
I love that.
And
I love that.
But it's the guilt factor. That
a lot of us
is
feel
that
guilty.
what you find prevalent?
Absolutely. A lot of us experience that. I don't know why. When at the end of the day, all of our children, whether you have one or multiple, they're all well taken care of.
For me, I think it comes from the tradition.
I was getting ready to say just that.
Yeah, the
The
tradition
tradition.
of being a mother. You know, you have to, what was I looking at? Some research for my job. And the images were from like the 1960s. It was talking about the inclusion or the gender stereotypes
Okay.
of women, and so all of the image, you know, you're in the kitchen, or you have the
Homemaking.
baby, or the homemaking, and so I think traditionally,
That's where it stemmed
it
from.
comes from that, and then as Black women, I don't think we were
Being the,
allowed
always having to show up for everyone
first.
first, putting ourselves on the back burner. And we didn't, and that's what we saw growing up. A lot of us, that's what we saw growing up. And so quite natural, it's like, okay, this the blueprint. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to put everyone before myself. But this is a new day and a new age. And you can see that that tradition, right, leads us to a high rate of divorce. That's part of it, right? At the I saw a video the other day on TikTok. It was an older lady. I want to say maybe she was about in her mid to late 60s. And I believe this scene was from a movie clip. I don't know the movie, but it was a mother and daughter in the kitchen, and she's just going on about how she's given so many years to her family, and now she looks up and she does not know who she is. She's sacrificed so much, her dreams, her desires, and now I don't know who I am.
But isn't that's what we've done? That's what was done in the past. You know, I think for me, it was, no one told me that I had a right to be myself. You know, I saw, just like you, all my sisters, you know, you were either doing this, you're doing that, but you were never doing just getting in the car and going on a drive by yourself.
Right.
You know, or taking some time to do whatever, you know, and getting beyond self-care, being a manicure. That's a normal part of life. If that's your thing.
Right.
If that's your
If that's
thing,
your thing.
that shouldn't be defined, you know, as the ultimate, you know, self-care is a spa
right.
day.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but that's what I saw. I didn't start to really go into self-love until I was out of marriage. So I was married 11 years. And what you're talking about, it wasn't a thing. I
So for
took
so
care of
many
my
of us.
husband. I took care of my kid. And I had friends, you know, but I didn't see that it was either with Lewis or, you know, we might have had a movie or something like that. So, but you've been married for 26 years.
26 years.
So how have you done that in your marriage without having that role model?
I don't know where it started from, at what point. Like, I can't pinpoint an actual age. But I believe just on this journey of becoming, I was that child, the child that my mother had that would always ask why. Why, how long? And I think just that inquisitiveness about me is what sparked purpose to go out on this journey to figure that out. And along the way, so I didn't have I have a mother, but my mother suffered from schizophrenia. So another thing that was in addition to that was, because I didn't have my mother I could call on for different things like that, and I'm always asking how and why and praying to God about different things, it was presented to me in a different way. God was so good to me that I would meet so many amazing women on my journey.
Yes.
And along this journey of meeting all these women is how I learned how to be or to become a woman, the woman of my dreams. Just each woman dropping little nuggets along the way. And so now that I'm thinking about it, I will say that that is the beginning of my metamorphosis, the beginning of my self-love journey. Just learning, you know, okay, how to be a wife. This is what you do when you know, with your husband. This is what you do with your kids. Even down to the point of, this is what you bring when you go to a party. You bring a gift.
Right.
Because I didn't have that experience growing up. Just all those different things. And so as I became more comfortable with who I was and, you know, how I was presenting myself to, you know, to the world and experiencing new things, that's where I started to become.
And and it is the journey of becoming,
It is.
because yours happened in the process of being still married, and we could,
Mm-hmm.
mine happened even though it happened outside of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get it
Mm-hmm.
until I started the journey
Mm-hmm.
to really becoming the woman that I wanted to be, to explore the things that I wanted to explore. I was always that. I had close friends coming up, a small circle, but I still always did things that nobody else did. Like I listened to all types of music except rock and hard metal. And I mean, when I say rock, I mean as a habit. But love some songs from Led Zeppelin, love Aerosmith, certain songs, all the way, to country, because my mother was a country fan. So I still had that. I wanted to do something different from everybody else. And in the process of doing that, when I realized, okay, you're single now, you've got to become a better person for yourself, and let go of all the stuff. And when I began to deal with the stuff, I began to realize, oh yeah, I can do this for myself, whether I'm in a relationship or outside of a relationship. Oh yeah, I could sleep in late without feeling guilty, you know. But it was the same. It was the same path of self discovery.
I love that.
So one of the things that you're talking about is helping women to, how do I identify if I'm in marriage, and if I'm a motherhood, or maybe I'm a single mother, and I just feel overwhelmed, like I don't have myself. How do I identify that I need to start to do some self-love practices?
Well, for one, you stating that you feel overwhelmed, or you feel burnt out, or if you feel unappreciated, some of those toxic behaviors, if you're seeking attention, if you're finding yourself, in toxic relationships, repeatedly over and over again, if you have this "oh woe is me" kind of mentality, playing the, not necessarily playing the victim role, but just finding yourself in these unfortunate situations continually, life will show you. And if we get quiet enough, your spirit will speak to you. The Holy Spirit, intuition. I don't, everybody believes something different, but you will speak to you on what you need.
And I absolutely agree with you. And I agree with you about the Holy Spirit. Um, I think it's a matter of listening.
It's a matter of, you have to find a place where you can be quiet. And when you said earlier about carving out the time, it is so important for us to make time for ourselves so we can hear our own thoughts.
But I have the husband, and I have the children, and and I've got PTA, and making sure that we have dinner, and spending time with the family. When am I supposed to do that?
You can do it in the shower, but it has to be intentional. You can do it in the shower. You can get up 10 minutes earlier. There's a way for you to make time for what it is that you need to do. Don't we make time for what we want to do?
We actually do.
We make time for what we want to do. And I believe that a lot of times when it comes to ourselves, because we're so accustomed to putting ourselves on the back burner, right? We have to intentionally set our minds. This is something that I need from me, right? And I believe also too that God is so good that He's not going to allow you to go through this life without extending an invitation for you to become. He would not allow you to go through this life without extending an invitation to you to discover everything that He has for you. It could be a loved one. It could be something that you would hear on the television. I mean, God speaks in so many different ways, but we have to be intentional about listening.
And
asking that question, that self-question, how, why, when. When you start to dig into some of those questions for yourself, the answers will appear.
And I always say, you have to be in a posture to listen.
So
But posture is not down on your knees or in the. No, you have to be in a headspace posture. You have to be in your car in the driveway.
Yes.
not listening to music posture.
Silence.
You have to be in a posture where you can hear, because the excuses that I gave you are the
I have been.
excuses that we give ourselves. But one of the things I want you guys to catch, amongst all the other things, the whole podcast, but she said 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. So it doesn't always have to be something that's 3 or 4 hours long, or it's going to take here. The key is making sure that it's intentionally yours.
It's intentionally yours.
It's intentionally yours. I used to tell my client, she was always interrupted, always doing 1,000 things, and I'm busy. I'm trying to focus. That was her thing. I'm trying to focus, but I keep getting these interruptions. And I used to tell her, you don't need a sign made by a sign maker. You can take a piece of paper out of the printer and put it on your door and saying, busy, please do not enter. And be very intentional, because they're going to open that door.
Yeah.
Did you read the sign? So I like the fact that you brought up that it doesn't have to be a whole day.
It doesn't have to be a whole day. And thank you for reminding me of that as well, the 10 minutes. And so that's really what the It's Blooming season was about. To show married moms, wives, that you can take 30 minutes a day for total alignment. 10 minutes for your mind, 10 minutes for your body, and 10 minutes for your spirit.
Oh, that's nice.
10 minutes.
That's really nice. And I really do wish someone had brought it to me that way. And that's what I love about this generation that I'm talking to. My people are 25 to 45, because they need to get it.
Yes.
Like now, if you practice it prior to marriage, you'll take it in. Talk about your partnership with your husband, because you can want 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. We can snatch those minutes, but in the midst of marriage, don't they have to be aware
Absolutely.
that you're trying to do
Absolutely.
something for yourself?
I encourage it. I absolutely 100% encourage you to communicate what you need. You have to communicate what you need with your spouse so that he can make space for you, assist you with the children, and understanding those different things that you need, your desire. What happens is, which I know in some situations, you could probably have a partner that's not very supportive, but you have to be, that's where the courage comes in at, right? With you taking the time out, carving that intentional time, posturing yourself, you identify what you need. And in those moments, you're journaling down what you need, get an understanding of what that is. And then when the timing is right, your spouse, your partner. If that's after dinner when he has a full belly, if that's after intimacy, whatever that is, your spouse. And present this information where they can hear you. The right timing is everything.
Timing
and the
is
right
everything.
timing. And present that information. I need this because. How do you feel?
Because. Not and timing is everything. Anger is not I'm overwhelmed and I'm just gonna storm out the house. I need this time. But the because not I need this. I need 10 minutes to myself. I need 15 minutes. I need 30 minutes. I'm gonna take this hour. Communication is everything.
It's everything.
Because I can't support you as well as I should and could if I'm trying to figure out what do you need this for. And I think sometimes even in relationships, we forget that men are men. Men think differently.
They do.
Men operate differently. They handle things differently. And telling a man, I need 2 hours by myself. I'm going to be leaving here at 6 o'clock. I'll be right back about 8.
Right.
The kids are, sleep. You got them. That's a whole conversation.
That's a whole conversation. When you going for 2 hours? What, when, how, why?
Right. And so put yourself in a position where you've explained that already.
Oh, you mean for myself?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what you're saying.
Oh,
Put
yeah.
yourself in a
Absolutely.
position where you've already explained that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that gives the other person, and I'm going to speak a little bit to, say you don't have a spouse. Maybe you're not in a relationship, but your support person. It's not fair to just dump, and I do use dump. You may do it kindly. You may leave them. They're well taken care of. But don't put that expectation on me
Right.
without communicating to me.
It's so big, and every relationship is huge. It's so huge. I was just gonna say, just in general, self-discovery is about developing and cultivating your self-worth. You know, defining your authentic self, your confidence, and you take all of that. You know, that newfound you, that newfound becoming. It benefits your marriage. It not only benefits you, it benefits your marriage. It benefits your relationships with your children. It is a special kind of invitation that every one of us, not just, I am, my audience is, you know, married moms, you know, moms and wives, but also for men too. It's important for them to go on their self-discovery journey.
Do
We
you
all should be developing person, you know, we all should be
should be
growing and
becoming better?
evolving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you find that the women that you're working with, that they are getting the support that they need when they make it known, or is it, are they are they learning how to make it known
They're
right
learning
now?
how to make it known because it has gone on for so long. And that's one of the reasons why I say you have to activate courage, because you have to use your voice. And if you haven't been accustomed to using your voice to, you know, state these different, you know, not necessarily demands, but your wants, your needs, your desires, you know, setting those proper boundaries,
Right.
it can be a little daunting.
And it could be daunting for the other person as well. And so, coming from the world of communication, I always tell, and I specialize, like the last 10 years that I was in corporate heavy, my specialty was soft skills, right? There's a way, and I call it a soft entrance, and there's a way to softly, say what you have to say. And I like the fact that you're talking about creating an environment
Yes.
where you know what you want to say. You're not
Right.
just saying it off the cuff.
Right.
You've got it down, and then you choose the time when the person can hear
When
you.
they can hear you.
And that is so important. I love that, because when you love someone and they love you back,
Yes.
there's a mutual, I want to support you.
Absolutely. I want to see you well. I want to see you thrive. I love you. I want the best for you. What can I do to support you?
And so, with the blooming season, the 7-day challenge, it was to take that 30 minutes
30
for
minutes
7
a day.
days to do something for yourself, or create the what you wanted to do, like create your plan.
Yes. So in the 7-day challenge, I provide everything you need. I even down to the workouts. I went out and found 10-minute workouts for you to do so you didn't have to go anywhere. It was all laid out. Even down to the mind part where we're journaling. I'm asking you questions for you to answer them yourself. I'm giving you scripture for your spirit and asking you, what is God saying to you? What is God speaking to you?
That's really good.
Yeah. And so
That is
it was
really
so
good.
many great testimonials. I've been kind of like, dripping them through my feed on my Facebook page and things like that, that it's just mind blowing to see that if we could just be intentional, we can just stop for a moment and know that we'll work this time. Right? Just 30 minutes, just the
Yes.
beginning, because you can add on to that, eventually as you create more time. And to see the women say, oh my gosh, I didn't know, that I was dealing with this, or these things were revealed to me during this time. And this transformation was just so amazing. 30 minutes, that's it, just 30 minutes. We can find it.
And transformation comes in the stillness of things.
Absolutely.
You know, I say it over and over. I'm working on my own journal. Journaling saved my life. Not because it was just writing for writing's sake. At the beginning it was. You know, I just wanted to write my thoughts down.
Right.
Right? But then it became my connection to spirit. It became my connection to God. It became a time to hear.
Yes.
Right? And I find that you can get to the beauty on the other side from those still moments when you flushed it out. So, you know, having to recognize that I can start to achieve that, and you know, the micro bites that you're talking about is the same thing that we started way back when e-learning first came out. You know, e-learning first came out. We took training that was 2-3 hours and made little micro bites, and now we've trained people to think that they can't think beyond 6 minutes or so, but that's okay.
Right.
Totally don't believe that. I mean, it's true. We have short attention spans,
We do.
but not for what we want.
Not for what we want.
I might have a short attention span for what you want, but if I want it, it could be 3 hours, and
Absolutely.
if I'm reading for 3 hours, I could do it.
Yes, you can.
Because it's something that I want to do. Do you have, other than the journaling, do you recommend any particular habits for the women, such as book reading or
Absolutely.
anything like that?
Book reading, if you can find the time to book read. Some people don't, you know, some people can do the audiobooks, you know, on your way to work, you know, find those time podcasts like one, yours is absolutely amazing for empowerment. I love podcasts. Silence is also good, just so you can hear yourself, you know, in those quiet moments. Everybody's out of the car, and definitely reading your Bible. Never can go. I mean, that's right, because everybody's, you know, different religion, things like that. But for the answers for your life are hidden within those pages.
Yeah, and that I truly believe. Are you doing any other blooming seasons coming up? And tell us about your ebook.
Yeah.
Tell us about your ebook.
So the ebook really is the challenge in book form, adding more of my personal experiences in there for transformation. So I expanded it. And so that's basically what the ebook is. And so I was getting ready to come here, and some other things dropped in my spirit to add to it, because I wanted to make it extremely, extremely valuable, you know, power packed, valuable, and transformative. And so I'm looking forward to the ebooks, my first ebook. And then the next challenge will be next month, May. And I'm going to do another one in June. So I'm going to run it 2 more times. The 7-day challenge is blooming season, where we're showing women how to intentionally fall in love with themselves using 30 minutes a day.
And you know, I'm going to throw this out here. Let us know. We still have a few minutes. We're going to talk, but let us know where we can find you on social media, where we can join the 7 days.
Absolutely.
And when are the dates, and where can we get your ebook?
The ebook is, I have a link, so I'll provide you with the link so that you can share that. But I can be found on all of my platforms at I am Monique Rogers. That's TikTok, Instagram, and then on Facebook, it is Monique Rogers.
All right. So I was ordering the ebook the other day, and then it asked for, I don't know, it asked for like the CVV code or whatever it was, and I didn't have my purse with me.
Okay.
But I put it in my calendar to order
to order it.
ebook.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. One, to support, but I just love, I mean, what you're doing is directly aligned with the reason that I do. You know, what I do is self-discovery, self-awareness. Those types of things make us just show up more powerfully.
Absolutely.
In all our forms in the world. And I have learned, you know, over the years through self-discovery that I am absolutely worthy
Yes, you are.
of everything that, you know, I desire. I'm who he says I am. And it just took me longer than I would have liked for it to happen. And people say, well, oh, I wouldn't change anything. Yeah, that's not true. I would have changed a few things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's keep it real, right?
Yeah, I would have changed a few things because some of that stuff didn't have to be.
Right.
But some of that stuff did have to be.
And some of it had to be.
So, again, this is Monique Rogers. We are talking blooming season. Monique's platform is centered around married mothers, affirming, confirming, taking back if they've lost it, reestablishing, let's say that, reestablishing their right for self-love, their right for being a whole and healthy person within their environment so that they can be better for those in the environment, but also for themselves. Because I'm doing it, and of course it's a byproduct. My husband will experience it, my children will experience it, but I have to love it first.
You have to love it first. It goes back to that scripture where it talks about God has commanded us to love our neighbors as ourselves. That starts with us. How can we love someone as ourselves? How can we love someone else if we don't love ourselves?
And that's always been the question. Right?
So that self-love is so very important.
So important. And, here, of course, at Power Conversations, that's what it's all about. Self-love, self-awareness, and unapologetically living your best life. All across social media, I'm at Susan R. Appleton, Power Conversations and Connections. Please go out, like, subscribe, do share. Share the podcast, not for the podcast's sake. Share the podcast so that at least one young woman can hear something where she says, I'm doing that. I'm on the right track, or I'm not doing that.
Right.
I want to do that.
Right.
And finds her way to becoming a better part of who she is on this side, right? We thank you for joining the conversation. Thank you so much, Monique.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely wonderful. Wish you lots and lots of success. And I know what I wanted to say. You said that May is going to be a blooming season.
Yes.
And June.
In June. I don't have the date for June, but for May, it's going to be May 13th.
Okay, so May 13th for a week. And then again in June.
And then again in June.
But I thought about this when you were saying it. After spring comes the fall.
Well, summer.
Well, after spring comes the summer.
Right.
Right? So I would love to see it continue, like
through the seasons.
Why not? Because
Why
I
not?
thought about when you said it, my mind actually skipped the summer and went to the winter, because in the fall and the winter we tend to go dormant. It gets dark earlier.
That's true.
We go dormant, and the kids are this and the husband that, and there's an opportunity to let that overshadow the fact that, wait a minute, I can't let me go dormant. I still need to dedicate. So I thought about that.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
So
I love that. I'm going to take that and put it in my pocket.
Absolutely. He didn't give it to me for me.
Thank you.
He gave it to me for you.
Absolutely. I receive it.
Absolutely. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We thank you for joining the conversation all across social media. Make sure that you connect. Join the conversation. Tell us your thoughts. And look forward to the next blooming season. If for some reason you didn't get the information from the podcast itself, on the post throughout social media, on YouTube, and all of the podcast channels will be the links for everything that we've talked about. So once again, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your support. Thank you for joining the conversation. Thank you, Monique.
Thank you.
All right, you guys be good.